A thing happened today that I wanted to share because I think this is honestly some pretty helpful information, especially for those of us who are, let's just say, on the second half of our careers. My name is Michelle Hancock. Thank you so much for stopping by the Agent's Edge channel today, where my goal is to just share 30 years of tidbits and knowledge to help you be more successful in your agency. Earlier in my career, I worked for some absolutely fantastic people over the years, and some people who maybe didn't have the best management skills. We all have a mix of that in our history. And I think sometimes you can carry that history forward with you and how you make decisions for your teams today. And I think to a certain degree, that's part of what I was, or I'll say am, inadvertently doing. And what I mean is this: when we look at how we want to deal with our teams today and how maybe we were dealt with in the earlier part of our careers, especially those of you that own your agencies, look at the time when you worked for someone else. A particular piece that has been difficult for me is sharing feedback with the team. Studies are showing that there's all sorts of different factors going into the dynamics of a workforce today. First of all, age, right? Somebody said this quote to me today, and I thought it was really fantastic. The world you grew up in is not the world you live in. I love that. His name is HR Huntsman. He owns a consulting organization on developing leaders called Leader's Edge. We were talking today, and he said that, and I was explaining to him how much that resonates with me because of the following: how I was treated as a young employee working for another company, how companies operated then. We cannot hold our teams today to that same level of care. The level of care we need to have for our teams today is a whole different, thankfully, much better level, right? That's the reality. So then it might have been kind of, I'll say, clunky to be polite, to get feedback from whoever you were working for then might have not felt the greatest. Today, we owe it to our teams and to ourselves to get the education it takes to learn how to effectively coach people, to learn how to provide feedback. And I'm not going to use the whole constructive criticism thing because I really don't even like that. It's coaching, right? It's telling them, these are the things that went well. These are the ways that maybe I can help you develop your skills. Development of skills, coaching. These are words that I prefer a lot more. But the important thing is that you actually do it, right? That you actually pay attention to what the team's needs are, and you have these conversations, that you don't just say, well, back in my day. And even if you're not literally saying it out loud, I mean, even in your head, if you're saying things like, well, that's never how it was in my day, it just doesn't matter anymore. So stop making those things affect your teams today. Today, what matters is how they see things. What's their lens? How can you help them today with their lens and your effective lens combined, not back in my day lens? And I'm not even talking about just the older folks. Clearly, I'm north of 50. Probably some of you are as well. But I've definitely seen this kind of thing happen in even much younger folks, right? Well, they don't want to hear what I think they did wrong. They don't want to hear what they need to do better. How do you know that? Have you talked to them? Have you had the conversations? Have you engaged in an open conversation with them? Have you provided them a safe space to speak with you? Are you providing an ongoing relationship? If you're an organization that's big enough that you maybe have a couple of managers that actually deal with your teams directly and you don't, what methods are you putting in place to making sure that you're staying in touch with the people actually doing the jobs, right? How are you keeping all those lines of communication open? Maybe it's not your business model to do so. Okay, no harm, no foul. Please don't walk around and pass off like you know what's going on the street if you really don't. Just today, I told someone, I can't do that, meaning there was a thing that we were discussing about training, and I recognize what I can no longer do because I haven't done it. And I'm not the one who knows anymore. When a carrier comes to me and says, oh, how are you guys liking working with XYZ company? I know I can't answer that without asking my team. I don't answer it based on what I think they might be feeling, or a couple of tidbits from people that I've heard here and there, right? Connect with your team, engage with your team. The world you grew up in is not the world you live in. People want to be connected and engaged with one another. It's not just about employer employee. Maybe this doesn't work for larger corporations and those sorts of things. Like, you do you. I'm just saying my point of view. We have to hit that pause button. We have to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. We have to do the research of what good leadership today looks like. We have to work to continue to expand our knowledge for as long as we are showing up to run our agencies. Your job isn't done because your book is big enough to support your financial need. Your job is to help grow others, help others be what they can and want to be, and provide them the safe space to do that. That's my soapbox for today. Thanks so much for stopping by.